right, so welcome everybody. So today we're going to be doing the first of our very first Versus series. I have Ernie with us today. How you doing, Ernie?
Doing great. Super excited.
Yeah, so for before we get started, I wanted to just ask a couple of questions. So we have the door closed so that people can't hear about some of the deck lists, but I wanted to just kind of ask. So before for the whole set champs series, you played blue red for a lot of them, and you decided not to play that today. Can you tell us a little bit about your thinking about why you decided to change and play something different for the constructed portion?
Yeah. So when you play a set champs or any tournament, really you want to find the deck that you think is the best and that you play well. And I was definitely playing blue red very well during set champs season.
Right.
And I do think it is the best deck in set 6 right now. But when you're playing a one game meta, it's a little different, right?
Yeah.
And so you're playing the game inside the game. And so the reason I went with the deck that I did was I thought it had the most balance against the entire field. I wanted to I played that one very well also. And so I just wanted to kind of build off of that is what I was looking to do.
Yeah, so, when you play a meta that's a best of one, it's really about playing a deck that has a little bit more versatility and doesn't run into any 80-20 matchups. That's really going to be a problem if you end up doing that. And so, no, that totally makes sense. Okay, so we talked a little bit about constructed. We'll end up seeing those lists when we are getting them set up. So me and Belle will talk a little bit about the lists as we do it. And then, so you ended up playing Purple Steel in Porcana. There are just like a lot of builds. I know when you did your testing, you probably saw that there are just different lists and different styles of the way the deck is played. Do you have any thoughts about like how you came to the list that you did, or what made you decide on some of your numbers?
Yeah, so honestly, I did more testing this week for Porcana than I did for all of the set championship season, Alex. It was kind of, I had never played Porcana. I've kind of hypothesized some things. I did think Purple Steel ultimately was the best, and the numbers came up. The mirror, what helps me in the mirror, is really where my numbers came up with. And my plan, Alex, is I'm going to share all of there was like 4 lists that were my top lists at the end.
Sure.
I plan on sharing those on the Facebook group later today, so everyone can kind of see. And I'll tell you this much: Porcana is an amazing format.
Yeah, the gameplay is interesting for sure. Yeah,
and so I hope that we do more of that and so I want to encourage other people to. I think it's unsolved. Obviously Purple Steel is very good, but I think there's a lot of great decks that can be built. So
yeah, no, I agree that since it's an unexplored format and there isn't as much online, it does really open the door for a lot of innovation, and so you get to kind of pick which cards you actually want to play based on what you said, what you thought was going to actually be showing up. It sounds like Purple Steel is one of the ones you really kind of targeted. Were there any cards in your Porcana deck, having done that testing, that really stood out as like, I did not realize how good this card was outside of its constructed format?
Chin Po is a stud. I'll tell you that much, Alex. It was, I actually started with 2 Chin Po's in my list, and it just increased until I got up to 4, right? Because Chin Po was he's amazing in this format.
Yeah, when you're playing Purple Steel and all your answers deal 2 damage or deal 3 damage, you just end up running into a lot of 2-for-1s or 3-for-1s in situations to even like clear it. And it's just huge. It's hard to get through. Okay, last question I wanted to ask. Since this is a Versus series, do you want to do any shout outs to friends, family, anyone that you feel like has helped you along the way?
I would shout out the entire Lorcana community here in Minnesota. We're growing. We're big. Scott had the very first big breakthrough, but there's a lot of great players here in Minnesota. So I'm excited this next season of DLC when they ever announce that. Right. I think Minnesota is going to be an area to reckon with, to be honest with you. So
I agree.
Shout out everybody.
Yeah, at the very beginning of the season, it seemed like there was a couple of Let It Go promos that got won, and for Vegas, like a couple players from Minnesota.
You were one of them.
Yeah, well, at the same, Derek, Toso, me, and Scott all made day 2, and so we definitely, towards the end of the season, were able to like put up some numbers. So I do, and with some of the experience that I've had, it seems like the competitive scene in Minnesota is really kind of taking a name to it. So cool. Okay, well, we're gonna move forward, and we're gonna get Christian on camera here in just a sec, do a little short interview, and then we're gonna start the action. So thanks,
Thank you,
Ernie.
Alex.
Yep. All right, welcome back, everybody. So I want to do a little quick, turn it around. So I got Christian. Nice to see you, man.
Nice to see you. Glad to be here.
I'm going to dive right in. So it was a little bit of a surprise when I was looking at what deck lists were submitted. For those of you at home, Christian decided to play green steel when he's been blue-redding, or he's played some ruby cards once or twice in his life. So the lack of ruby cards in the deck that was submitted definitely came as a surprise to me. What made you decide to kind of switch and play something in the Versus series that's different than maybe one of your normal decks?
So I think this is actually like totally in the spirit of the Versus series, right? Like this is a really big thing where when you're presenting a deck for a tournament, you're trying to predict, 9 rounds worth of opponents. I only have one opponent. I know who he is. He knows who I am. He knows what decks I play. And this is like part of the process when you're thinking of what decks you're going to bring for this. He knows I play only Ruby cards. I mean, really, if anyone knows me, when was the last time I brought a non-Ruby deck to a tournament? I love Be Prepared. I love Brawl. And I thought this was a really nice surprise. I was looking at decks that I thought Ernie would definitely play and trying to find a nice middle ground of like, I think this deck has the most leverage into what I expect him to bring. I expect him to either be Ruby, Sapphire, or Amethyst Steel. And I want something that I could hedge my bets into either of them. I thought Emerald Steel was a really great pick. It's definitely something that I don't normally play. But the deck still has really powerful lines in it. Protecting Diablo is just something where if you don't build your deck around, you could just totally lose to it. And that is, I am banking Ernie to not be considering Diablo whatsoever and expecting Maui Sharks, Brawls, and maybe a Fox or two to show up, and that won't be in my deck whatsoever.
Yeah. Like Christian said, when you play a Versus series, you want to like hedge your bets, right? You want to avoid getting into matchups where you're playing blue-red and they're playing hyper aggro. Because you only get to play best of 5 matches, right? And each one of those matters so much. And so by picking a deck like Emerald Steel that does have a little bit more of that spread, that you can hit some more of the decks that have been pretty good in the meta so far this season. And honestly, some of the decks that Ernie's more likely to play. So I hear you. I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And I think that by choosing kind of a safer option, it gives you just kind of more of a chance to shoot based on whatever that he's playing.
Yep.
Okay, so with Porcana, I saw your deck list and I saw what you decided to play.
Yep.
If you're playing something, what would be your second runner-up choice, you think?
That's a tough choice. We were testing a couple decks. There was a Sapphire Steel deck that you were piloting, actually, that we really enjoyed when testing. We thought it was a really, really cool deck. I just didn't think it was a deck that, I'm not sure if Ernie was going to bring a deck like that, right? And so I think for the most part, because Porcana is very much like a limited plus type of format, right?
Yep.
A lot of the cards that are good in limited tend to actually be good in Lorcana because of a lot of the similar problems. And so I think evasives tend to just be really strong in that format. I think that deck has answers to evasives, but if you get a mass of them, it becomes like really a huge problem. And I didn't want to hedge my bets into what I think is a really important keyword in the format for that reason. Though I thought the deck was really strong, and I actually like really, really liked what it was representing. That would probably be my second pick. I think like at least currently in Porcana, anything steel is just like a really good choice.
Yeah.
Pretty much just with the card quality that we have. You got removal, you got big bodies, just everything you could use in that color pairing.
Yeah, I agree that specifically steel is like one of the most popular color decks. When we did the Porcana tournament here, 7 steel decks made top 8.
Yep.
And it's just because of just how strong that color is.
Yep. Shout out to Hannah Young, the only non-steel player in that top 8 at that Porcana event.
To add on to that as well, when you don't have access to cards like Hiram, which generates so many cards, it's pretty hard to justify necessarily playing a reactive strategy. So a lot of these proactive strategies like Purple Steel, Ruby Steel end up being pretty popular in Lorcana just specifically for that reason. You have a lot of 1-for-1 answers, and you just get to like hide behind cards like Chimpo while you generate advantage that way. So it just plays a little bit differently than you would see in Constructions, which is one of the reasons why Porcana is kind of popular. People like playing it. Okay.
It's reminiscent of an older time.
Yeah.
The grindy games. It was good times.
So last question is where we are today and the people who we've been able to become when it comes to Lorcana. Do you want to shout at any one person as far as inspiration for you to get to be where you're at?
Ooh, that's an interesting question. I think there's like a couple people.
Okay.
Right? Like I have to shout out my wife. She's my main testing partner. She is always there to suffer through a bunch of bad ideas that I have, and she's grown so much as a player too, where like I'm actively asking for her input on things, and I trust her input for what I think can go in and out of a deck or choices and stuff like that. You know, I've had a lot of time working with some of the best players. You, Scott Markinson, we got, you know, we have such a great crew here in Minnesota. If you want good high level competition, you can find it here. You got people willing to share information. No one hides it. It's, you know, I think there's almost too many people to shout out in this case, in my opinion. You know, more than who I just shouted out already. So
for sure, yeah. No, Hannah has had a very consistent set champs, many top 8s.
Yeah.
And I know that just the consistency in practice, being able to kind of have those constant conversations, really do. It's not always just like one for one. It's like on a regular basis, getting to like run those ideas and have that environment to continue to test. And then also, in addition, that surrounding yourself with players that challenge you to be better really makes a huge difference.
It's huge, and if you seek that out, you'll naturally get better. Even if you take a beating a lot of times, you just got to accept that sometimes. You know what I mean? I've been there, do it all the time. Still, you know.
Everybody loses. It's part of the game. Right?
It is. Yep. Everyone loses.
Well, thanks, Christian. So we're gonna go back and we're gonna start to set up the play area so that we can get those matches set up. Me and Bo are gonna take a look at some of these deck lists and kind of talk about what the players are playing, so you can be, I guess, rooting for your player, rooting for your deck, whatever you're looking for. But we should be getting started here pretty shortly. So bear with us while we can get that set up.
All right, guys, we are back. The names are correct on top now. It was Alex and Vo the whole time, but you guys already met Alex and our players for today. My name is Vo. I'm gonna be one of your hosts today, so it's gonna be a fun day. This is I think this is Alex's first time. How you feeling?
No, I feel really good. It's gonna be fun. I'm excited to kind of look at some of the decks and see what the players brought. I'll kind of give a little bit more of my thoughts as we start to see some of the deck lists, but I was a little bit surprised what we ended up getting to see, weren't you?
Yeah, we both had like a side bet going on. Alex thought it was going to be a Ruby Sapphire mirror, and I forgot what I predicted it was going to be. I thought that Ernie might be also bringing Ruby Sapphire, and then I was kind of hedging that Christian might be bringing Ruby Amethyst because that's one of his comfort picks, and he knows that matchup goes good into Ruby Sapphire, so that's why that was my side bet. But we were both wrong, as you guys are going to see here. So let's take a look at their deck lists. We're gonna, all right. Oh, this is the Porcana list. Let's
let's go talk about the constructed.
Yep. So we're looking at Ernie's list here first. So Ernie is playing Purple Steel today. This is one of the decks that I started set 6 playing, and I know Alex, you found a lot of success during set championships with this deck too. So, what do you think of Ernie's list here?
So it looks pretty relatively stock. I think that when I ended up playing it, I kind of trimmed a little bit more of the 5-drop slots. You just ran into a lot of Ruby Am, you ran into a lot of Blue-Red, and so by lowering your curve, you kind of actually made that matchup. I do like the inclusion of 4 Pete's, and I think 3 Crabs is a pretty good number, especially considering the fact that Christian hasn't really been a Daisy kind of guy. So usually when I was playing I was playing 4 Crabs because a lot of people, there were just a lot of Daisy ducks running around. But overall, I think the deck looks pretty stock. What do you think?
I think so too. Yeah, I was just thinking the same with you about all the 5-drops. So Ernie's probably thinking, Christian could also be bringing a mid-range type deck. That's probably why Ernie decided to go a little bit higher up on the 5-drops, which would be good in that matchup if Christian indeed is playing something a little bit lower or mid-range. But yeah, I really like this list too. My changes, I like the 4 Calhoun. This whole entire set I've been playing 3 because sometimes I feel like Calhoun is not the card you want to open, especially in a big Ruby Sapphire matchup. But Ernie must not be expecting a big Ruby Sapphire player out of Christian, so that's why he went with the 4 Calhouns. Which, if it's not Ruby Sapphire, I think Calhoun is going to be a 4 of always.
Right. I think a lot of the when I was interviewing Ernie, and I kind of can see this in the list, his list is very. It almost looks like AI built it a little bit. Like some of the numbers look very like one of these, 2 of these, and it's looking like it's trying to hedge against a lot of but depending on what the meta is going to be. The list itself looks pretty stock. Plus, it has cards that are good, and like my list that I built and brought to set champs was very targeted to a specific what I thought what I would see. Whereas this list looks like it's trying to have cards to potentially win all the matchups, and that's we'll see how that goes. And there's certain cards in this deck that I'd stop playing because I just don't think they're quite as good anymore. But yeah,
we'll see how it goes. All right, so that is Ernie's list.
Before we're gonna go to Christian's next.
Yep.
One thing I do want to point out before we thing is just keep an eye on the number of else's that are in this list as we go to because I think that's going to be a big factor in the matchup is this number of else's that he decided to play, which is 2.
Yep.
So, all right, let's move it.
All right, let's take a look at Christian's list. So locally here, Green Steel has not been a very popular deck.
No.
I only just recently found some success with it in the very last set championship. I ran a list quite similar to this, and I played a lot of Amethyst Steel that day as well, and I'm gonna say I did very well versus Amethyst Steel. So how do you feel with Christian on Emerald Steel today?
Yeah, so when I was doing my coaching, the person I was coaching was playing Amethyst Steel that day, and they saw Vo was doing well, and they're like, how do I really beat this matchup? And it's like, as you start to trim your number of Elsas, right, you don't have great answers for Diablos. Diablo a lot of times draws 2-3 cards, and you're also pretty light on answers to Ursula. So I think this is gonna be a really tough matchup for Ernie just because of how the deck is built. I think that was a light risk on Christian's part. I think this deck is unfavored into Blue-Red, which is what I was honestly thinking he was going to play. But he obviously was able to kind of choose in a way that I wouldn't have. And so I think this deck was a really good choice.
Yeah, I think so too. This is, I was surprised myself when I saw both deck lists. I think personally, if I'm just looking at these 2 lists, I'm going to give Christian the edge in the constructive matchup.
Yeah.
But we never know. My list did not run the Zeus. Realistically, let's see. The Muses is really the only singer for that song. Yeah. So Christian's trying to cover up a lot with those Muses. He's probably going to put a lot of emphasis on getting those Muses out. If he doesn't play any of the Zeuses and the Muses aren't out, they're going to be more than likely a hard cast, which I don't know, can or cannot feel too great depending on the target, but it's going to be a good match. Let's.
To talk about the Zeuses, I think that's probably was like in by design was meant to be good against the Maui Half Sharks, which he thought he might be playing against.
Yep.
But I think like as far as like deck design, you need more ways to sing your songs. I probably would have rather just seen that as like something else in your deck that was a little bit lower to the curve.
Yep.
Realistically, you kind of need like your plan should be to like either double strength of a Raging Fire your opponent's Half Shark, or you can kind of block them with like a double Pete turn, because you can like set up some plays and where you can are able to like play a Pete and like just end up like that's usually enough to kind of close it with where the shark doesn't get to actually it gets actions back, but they can't use them before they end up losing.
For sure. But looks like our guys should be getting ready here.
Okay.
Let me just double check with them really quick. Give me just a moment, folks.
So yeah, if you want to share in the chat who you're rooting for, who do you think is going to end up winning that matchup, it's going to end up being pretty close. I think it's going to be really interesting, and I actually think it's going to be really cool to see. Got to watch a lot of Ruby Sapphire just overall through set champs. Didn't really get to watch this matchup a lot, so it's going to be kind of fun, I think.
All right, so we're over here. Let's get everybody's name correct. So Christian is going to be on our right side here. And Ernie is on our left. Looks like they're just finishing up with their mulligans.
And yeah, just that reminder, we're going to be doing it's going to be a best of 5 series. So this is the first match. We're also going to be playing Porcana today. And yeah, I think that this is going to be best of 3. Do we actually know who's going to play this game?
We do not, so I guess we'll find out here. But
Yeah.
the loser of this matchup will be going first in the Porcana after this, so looks like they're getting started.
Yeah, the friendly rivalry shows with the fist bump.
Friendly for now. All right, looks like Ernie won the dice roll, so Ernie went first. He's going to ink the crab into the broom.
Yeah.
Only revealing Amethyst to Christian. Christian should be feeling pretty good about this.
I think that because of how the format currently exists, I think that it's fairly telling about what 2 color pair he's going to play. And so Ernie picking up his hand now, it looks like a lot of cards that don't answer a Shifted Diablo to me. I see 2 Calhouns, 2 Genies.
Mm-hmm.
I can't see the last card because it's kind of
just a little off, but it's all right. I'm sure we'll see it here soon.
So it looks kind of like this hand is gonna. If we are able to shift this Diablo right away, it does look like we're gonna have to struggle a little bit to get an answer, because by playing Genie, it's that's 4 cards or whatever.
I don't know if Christian's shuffling a little bit. I don't know if I see the shift in hand, but
Yeah.
Ernie's just gonna go with his normal gameplay. He's gonna ink that. I wonder if he's gonna pop it here. Do you think?
I think he has to kind of try and find an answer. I think he's going to probably pop and draw cards to try and get something that can answer the Shifted Diablo. I think it's just kind of like risk management at this point.
Yeah, you gotta just assume he has the shift, and that broom is not safe if he has the shift. Probably.
If he had like Strength of a Raging Fire, which he was playing 4 copies, they're very unlikely to shift, right? Like, because if he does shift, then we can just play that in the next turn. Which kind of just keys us in that that's not the case.
All right. So Christian did not shift. So Ernie probably sighing in relief.
Yeah, for sure. I've played this deck at 1 or 2 DLCs, so it's the ceiling of the deck versus some of the Diablo. What it looks like, it's really good. It sure does look really good, and when it doesn't look as good, you know how it goes, right?
Yeah, definitely the high rolls.
Yeah. So. So this is interesting. I think that if the green steel deck, like a lot of the what we were talking about is like a winning board state is being able to take advantage of Diablo. I think that this matchup looks a lot like if we play an Ursula here and he doesn't have an answer, that's like really good for us. It's not an Ursula. So
All right.
We're seeing a lot of the cards that probably don't shine in this matchup. I think we want to play Ursulas and Diablos are really the cards that are going to be that you probably found yourself when you're playing that matchup. That really, the Ursula specifically singing like Storm and killing a damaged Shmi and something else really was problematic for the. And then you can just kind of like take out some stuff from there. Calhoun is good in this matchup, though.
It is very good in this matchup. And I was going to say, since Ernie went first, it might have been a little bit dangerous for Christian to slam down in Ursula, even if he did have it, because Ernie could just hard cast a Strength of Raging Fire to out it right now. Christian could be thinking that. I don't know if I saw the Ursula in hand, but yeah. That last week when I played Green Steel was my very first time playing Green Steel, and I was kind of learning it throughout the day, and it was... by top cut, I did make it to top cut and end up taking second. I saw really just how powerful this deck is. Even if everybody's saying Diablo's not quite as strong as it was because of genies, I think it's still plenty powerful.
The Green Steel deck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think it still has legs for sure. I mean, didn't Zan make like top 8? Like
oh yeah, but Zan's just built different.
Yeah, and someone was telling me, it's like, you see that Zan did? It's like, well, you can't always use Zan.
Yeah. But I see why he plays the deck. I tried it one time and it brought me all this success already.
Yeah, it's definitely got some really interesting gameplay, and Ursa's a card that I think is kind of gone under the radar, and that is like probably one of the top 10 most powerful cards that exists in the game right now.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a lot of times it's like Diablo is kind of a risk currently with how the format exists, but I think Ursa's just like always good in every matchup. It sings and does a lot of stuff. So
all right, there's that Ursula.
All right. Even if we have strength in our hand, we probably need to clear a Calhoun with this Shmi. I think it's like
too.
We're building to a point where it's like.
Hope he did pass.
Okay.
Well, if he has a Strength of Raging Fire in hand, he could be thinking to. No, I think I would have taken that trade.
Yeah.
And then if he were to double sing with Ursula next turn anyway, then he could. Or
I mean,
he might be keeping the body on board so he can take.
Yeah, I mean, if his hand is exactly like 3, he has like 4 cards in hand, right?
Yeah.
I'd be pretty impressed if it was exactly
another genie.
Yeah. So now we still have 2 strength targets, and Ernie potentially has an extra lore out of it. So we'll see how it shakes out. But we are at this point. We are behind enough where we need a pretty strong set of draws from Christian to end up winning this game. And that's one of the nice things. I don't know if you noticed that when you've played the purple steel deck, the draws feel almost the same when you draw like really bad. It's okay. When you draw like really good, it's obviously better, but it's not the difference in the good draw and the difference in the bad draw is much lower for purple steel than it is for the
Definitely
green steel deck.
I've been telling people who have been asking me about the deck, it's just I think it's one of the most fair decks right now that just does, just above average powerful cards all over.
Right.
That Ursula did survive, so I'm expecting big things from it this turn.
Yeah.
All right, he's going to hard cast that Hypnotize, draw another card.
Draw 2 cards.
Draw 2 cards.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what he decides to do with that Ursula. Is he does have a sudden chill, so, and Ernie has 2 cards left in hand. He could just go.
When we were looking at the deck, it was 4 strength of Raging Fire, right?
Yep.
Okay. It's hard to see. I did see for sure the sudden chill in the hand, but I don't know if we.
Oh, he does have the Strength of Raging Fire.
Okay. So they're probably going to see both these genies go down, and then clear a Calhoun, and then we probably. We probably quest with Diablo here, honestly, because we are getting to a spot where we kind of like, okay, genies are looking cooked. Okay.
Yeah, both genies are going.
Well, it makes more sense why he chose not to challenge the last turn if he was going to do that. And then I guess John could probably sing the strength. If he has like 1 card left, John can string the sudden chill. Yeah.
And just draw another card, take another answer away from Ernie.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep, looks like he's going to do it.
I don't know if Ernie has cards left.
Ernie has one card left, I believe. I saw.
Okay.
I think he had one left.
So I would probably use Diablo to clear Diablo.
Yeah.
Shmi to clear Calhoun, and then okay.
All right. So the Ursula, definitely the Ursula being taken here.
That's what we're talking about, right? The Ursula doing double strength of Raging Fire, taking out 8 ink worth of cards from Ernie is like, I mean, Ernie got +1 card, -8 8 cost.
And Christian still has a big healthy hand because he got a lot. Oh, there's a cove. Nobody's at the cove, but the cove is out.
Yeah.
Ernie with 1 in hand, 2 in hand out from that draw now. So we'll see what Ernie drew into. This is
Calhoun's knocking out Ursula almost
for sure.
Yeah.
That she's done her work already.
I think it's probably gonna run into Prince John.
Yeah. I think you gotta. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, this is like, it doesn't look insane, but it looks better for Christian than it did like, a turn ago.
Definitely did that. Lawrence is a nice card.
Yeah. We can put Diablo in the Cove if we draw like a relevant card. Like if we go put Diablo in Cove, like play Muses, like run it into Calhoun, play Muses, play Muses. I mean, we got some decisions we can make. Yeah.
Okay. So that's a good trade. All right. He inked that Ursula Deceiver.
Yep. Kind of, the door is shut. Also, like we saw, Ernie's only, I think, playing 4 songs, right?
Mm-hmm. 5 songs. I think he had 4 strength and 1
friends on the
other side. All right, so Muses did come out. That Lawrence is definitely a threat. He goes for 2.
Okay. I like that. I think as we start to get like, there's a point where you kind of like break up, like.
Ooh, there's another Lawrence.
Yeah. How do you feel about a big Tinkerbell off the top?
That.
I don't think that we didn't see those.
Yeah, I don't think it was in Christian's deck, but the old deck definitely did play it.
That'd be a heck of a one, right?
Alright.
It's singing. I'm assuming that's a Zeus that got sang.
Yep. Alright, he played a dock. I believe there was nothing left in hand. Oh, alright.
Diablo, ain't it? If he has 1 left, he should probably put his Muses in the.
Yep.
Yep. Oh, but there's 2 left. Okay.
Alright, if you're Ernie, are you taking that Muses, or are you just pressuring the
If we had the dock in hand, which we did, I kind of actually liked. No, I'm sorry, we can't sequence that way. Never mind, don't mind me. I was like, we could balance it, but it's like, no, we have to discard our hand. It doesn't just draw 2.
Yep.
Card be okay.
Yeah, 2 Lawrences was bad, but Christian has a pretty threatening board. No cards in hand, but
It's going to be tough with just there's the deck only has like so many answers to ready characters, right? So and like a lot of your characters like end up just like if he like plays goats and plays a lot of stuff that like if we go to 16 here, there's just like Christian's got a lot of game left to play for us to not get 6 more lore this game, and us meaning Ernie, obviously.
yeah. Ooh, Ernie's really thinking here. I've not yet seen what his 2 cards are. But what could he be thinking?
Yeah, as you start to like, both these decks have like the ability to like pivot in a role, whether they're like trying to play to board presence or whether they're trying to like win. Huh? I'm kind of honestly surprised about that.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would have done that. That's
And I think I saw a dock in Ernie's hand.
yeah. Well, if he had a dock, he probably would have played that as his last 2 ink, right?
Mm-hmm. All right. So that Diablo's going to sacrifice itself. Lawrence now has 0 attack.
Yeah. I think we drew a go-go, so I think we're going to gain 3 lore.
Yeah.
This go-go.
Nice.
then we're gonna finish that off, and we'll probably quest with our last
Yep.
with our dock. Definitely don't pass. Definitely. If we're gonna clear something, we got Diablo could get cleared too.
He didn't quest the doctor. He's probably saving it in case he, tops a song. Muses can, but it was a Pete, not a Doc. That's what I said. Okay.
I think Ernie has no cards now.
Yep, Ernie is.
Okay, this game is interesting now. Now that the Lawrence didn't quest, like our. Let's see. What are we?
Pete is active.
I think you.
Oh, he just passed it back. This is very dangerous for Christian. His brings Ernie up to 18 potentially, and Amethyst has a lot of free lore. It could be a goat. Show us the goat. Goat.
That ain't doing it.
Oh,
That's the nail. Unfortunately, this green steel deck has no way to lose them any lore.
Yep.
So yeah. All right. So we're going to game 2. Any thoughts from that game?
Christian not having the Diablo shift really that would have made all the difference in this one. Ernie was drawing mad cards, and Ernie was able to go
it looked
right
honestly
under that
reasonable
deck.
there for a second. When he played the Doggender double 1-cost Diablo.
Yep.
I think we drew some real cards there.
Yeah.
The game would have been interesting, but certainly once we got to a spot where it was when you draw that many dead cards without the green steel deck just relies a lot on the premiums from it, right?
Exactly. He got the Ursula. That Ursula got.
That's why the game was close, right? If that Ursula was a Pete or something, the game wouldn't have been close, right? So that's the only reason why there was a game to be played was because of the potential of some of the cards in the deck to generate such advantage for the green steel deck. Christian on the play though, I'm kind of hedging in his way. So
Yeah, as long as he doesn't. Even if I found myself when I was playing it, even if I didn't have the Diablo shift, sometimes a lot of times you could dig yourself out. Because the deck can draw so much, and while you're drawing, you're usually discarding your opponent out. So you're able to find your advantages in multiple different ways. But obviously, Diablo is just the highest of high rolls, but there are still ways. And I think the best Emerald Steel players always find a way, even if they don't get the Diablo shift.
Yeah.
But the Diablo shift is always nice.
The Emerald Steel deck with cards like Muses and cards like Diablo and cards like Ursula, in the Coves, there's a lot of decision trees. I don't know if you saw that. There were spots where Christian had to think pretty hard because these had just so many options.
Yep.
And also how we talked. It was pretty funny how the Zeus actually was good that game. We talked about how that was not going to be good, and it was good thing he has that Zeus in his hand with his Muses. But yeah, no, I think it's going to kind of come down to the ability for Christian. I think that if Christian can shift Diablos on turn 2, I think it's going to be pretty tough.
It looks like they're shuffling up really quick. While they're doing that, let's go over their deck list one more time.
Yeah.
So Christian, he only had the 3 Prince Johns. We did see the Prince Johns. Any cards we did not see yet. We basically saw everything. We may not have seen an I'm Still Here, which was a card that is very good into a steel meta.
Right. I think realistically what you're going to end up seeing this as you look at this list, it's pretty character-like, right? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 11, 15, 19, 21, 24 cards that are non-characters in this deck. And that's, for a steel deck, that's feels kind of low.
It does.
I think even the Steel Song deck has more characters in it than this deck does.
I think so. When I was playing Emerald Steel, the couple games that I lost were from double Peats. I even got triple Peated one game. That was, but I was already losing that game. And then let's take a look at Ernie's here. Yeah, Christian only had 2 docks, and he managed to pull one of them. We did not see an Elsa or a Belle. I don't know if we saw a Strength or a Raging Fire, unless Ernie might have inked it early when he saw the Emerald.
No, you said you inked Amethyst, played Amethyst.
That's what it was.
I'm assuming that once he plays Diablo, we're not putting Strength of Raging Fire in the inkwell.
Yep.
So I could be mistaken, but I didn't see at any point that ended up getting inked. So looks like we're in the process of making mulligans.
Yep. All right, we do see the shift in Christian's hand here. But does he have the little one?
One of the things that was really interesting, actually, for the as you see, he's probably taking. I think he took 5 cards there. That kind of just he's missing. The deck is kind of has like a 2-part deck, right?
Yeah.
2 pieces. I mean, usually is for sure when you had like the Bucky thing in your deck, it was very. When your opponent's mulliganed more heavily, you could kind of tell that a lot of times they're on green steel because they're like trying to find the other pieces. Whereas a lot of decks in the rest of the format, like blue red and ruby M, were pretty light on mulligan decisions. So
sometimes I play a lot of blue red myself, and oftentimes I feel like I'm tossing a bunch.
Well, apparently you got to run better. All right, so let's see what happens. All
right, Christian's on the play here. Let's see if he found that little guy. We know he had the big one. He did not. It's an ink and pass. All right.
I do believe this matchup is going to, like, if we don't draw like the cards that, like, if we can go turn 3 Ursula and then like Ursula lives and we're able to do like stuff with it, I think that this game is very winnable. But I think that this matchup really is kind of comes down to like Fenris. I think I saw Calhoun in there. I think we're probably.
He did have the little one, huh? Or did he probably just drew into it then?
I think that if you don't have the, like, for me personally, when I played this deck, when you didn't have the like both pieces.
I saw in his pre-mulligan hand he had the big one. I wonder, did he throw that back? We'll have to ask him.
Yeah, we'll ask him after in the stream. I think that having it on turn 1, like if you could deploy it here on turn 3, right? Like you might still just do it anyways. I actually had an interesting game in that competitive side event that I ended up winning playing green steel, where one of my opponents played the Diablo without the other piece on turn 1, and then ended up getting to a spot after I made them discard cards where they had to ink Tinkerbell because they only had 5 in their inkwell because they like turn 1 played Diablo, and it's like really a lot of resource management, especially in those mirrors back then. And like knowing when you should be playing your Diablos and such. I think we can probably pretty freely quest. If he plays a box
crab.
here,
You could crab one.
you could play crabs. Yeah, crab would be probably the one we don't want to see.
I feel like I think I saw the shift Diablo in his hand. Christian may have I think that Christian top decked the little one turn 2 and he opted to not. How do you feel about that decision? Would you have?
It's really context. Like we'd have to see their whole hands, and like it's a little bit hard for me. I think that if you're have the opportunity to play Calhoun this turn, I think I would probably have inked it and played the Diablo this way.
Yeah.
I kind of I would have probably quested here because if he takes a turn off to play Crab, it like protects our Diablo for a turn from a Strength of Raging Fire.
Yep.
So I'm kind of okay with that, and right.
Yep. Yeah, because now Ernie's onto 3 ink. He could hard cast it. 2 characters on board can definitely take out that Diablo. Oh, all right. Looks like Ernie does not have it. If he's questing, and he's probably going to pop it. Yep.
Oh, and that's quite good for us because
that's
the only answer at this point is strength, and so he can't do that this turn. So Christian's apparently a top competitor, whereas I might have gotten our guy crabbed.
Yep.
That was also one of the reasons why I played the 3 crab list. Is it like did a lot.
All right. So he played the Pete, no action.
I think Pete's like kind of okay for us, right?
I think so too.
We can probably if we have like an Ursula here, it like leads us to especially so we have like
okay.
So he plays his own Pete. That's very good for us.
If he doesn't have his own Pete, that could spell trouble because Pete is very good in this matchup, as I found out. Because Pete, stops your Diablo from doing actions, and then next turn he can sing strength for free right into your Diablo. So playing the Pete here, I really, really like for Christian.
I dig it as well. So
we noticed Christian did not ink here. That's one thing that I've found out from playing this deck.
I don't know if you saw he inked to Strength of Raging Fire. So for players who that's very telegraphing that he likely has an Elsa in his hand. So if I'm Christian and we have like Hidden Cove, I'm likely putting a Diablo in the Cove because it's very like by the Strength of Raging Fire going into the inkwell, it gives us a sign that there's like that like it just he says what his like next turn looks like, and I would be willing to bet money that he ends up putting Elsa in to play this next turn.
And he has 2 Strength of Raging Fires and an Ursula. He has some bangers in his hand.
Yeah, so if we could play Ursula here and like sing, and then just like quest with Calhoun. I think that even if he elses this, it's like pretty kind of in a bad spot. Like Diablo's drawn a bunch of cards already.
Yep, Diablo's already basically replaced it. Or no, he didn't shift it. So Diablo's already gotten its value. He got the draw for turn and the genie draw.
And he rabbited with that Diablo already.
Yeah.
And if he sets his turn to spend a turn playing an Elsa, like that's pretty good for.
Okay.
I'm a little surprised. Oh, he strength the Raging Fire that.
Strength of a Raging. No, he stormed it.
Storm. That's what I meant. Sorry.
Yep. You're good. You're good. You didn't miss too much, Gummy. Ernie took game 1, put on enough pressure, and Christian didn't draw the best of cards. Oh.
Now he might actually like, did like strength the Pete and bounce Genie.
Yeah.
And
just take board control. Yeah. Elsa can still come down, take Diablo. But
yeah, we got a pretty good. Also, then like Muses can like bounce. The Elsa, right?
But I think at that point, even if you Elsa the Diablo, Diablo's already gone its value. 3 draws off of this.
I think this is second draw, right? Because he played on turn 3. This is going to be his turn 5. So
yes.
turn 5.
Yep. So Diablo's gotten 2 turn draws and 1 genie draw.
Yeah. I forgot about the genie draw.
Yep. There's a Lawrence.
Oh, okay. Well then, there's trouble in paradise now.
Doc no effect.
Yeah.
That usually means.
And this is what we're talking about, by the way, when we were mentioning like this green steel deck. Like Diablo snowballs pretty bad, and if you can't find your answer, I'm really surprised we ended up putting the Strength of Raging Fire in the ink.
Yeah.
Well,
there's the second bird.
This is probably. It looks like it's going to sing another strength here. This game looks pretty much wrapped up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it will be very difficult for Ernie to win this game. This is what we're talking about. This is the game that is like when you want that green steel to be doing its thing, right? Like the Diablo, it's not the Muses that's really cooking them. It's the Diablos and Ursulas that really do the part.
Green steel's doing the green steel things. There's the Elsa.
Okay.
No, Elsa lives. Elsa lives.
Yeah. No, he's decided when you. I guess it doesn't really matter, but
yeah.
There's a lot of songs in this deck though, because even if this Diablo if he has to spend his next turn replaying, also, like if he plays there's a ton of songs. We've drawn a lot of cards. Like even if he just storms we'll get to see what happens here.
He's probably gonna take a look and see what else is in his hand. I played it on that side, so. Oh, he has a lot in hand. Oh, just found the perfect glare, so we can't see what's on the bottom there.
Well, for the next game, we'll make sure if there's any type of reveal that they their hand out in the middle.
Put it right in the middle.
For sure, because we want to make sure that you guys at home get a chance to watch.
Oh, man. Ernie's definitely in a rough spot right now.
Yeah. Also, Christian just kind of has a lot of cards in hand. So...
didn't see a song, so he has no way of bouncing the Muses. But I think at this point,
just quest them all.
You're just going.
Yeah, go to 9. I mean, the green or the purple steel deck just has no way to answer mark. It has no grab your swords, none of that.
Yeah.
Once you start to
go wide,
it's tough for you. The Diablo's gone, but he's gonna add out a couple more guys. We quest for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, go to 16. Probably deploy another threat or 2. Because we had a song, we're probably bouncing that Elsa. Yeah, that ain't doing it.
Aside from the Prince John, there's not too many hard questers on Christian's side, but
yeah.
That's still
We've seen kind of pretty one-sided games so far, haven't we? The first game, it looked like Ernie was cooking from start to finish, and ever since this Diablo was exerted, the game has been very 90-10.
That just kind of shows you, though, how big of a difference it makes going first.
Yeah.
Because Christian didn't even get the most ideal opening that he could have had, and he's still just going.
Yeah. All right, so I think I hypnotized. So this we're gonna get a Muses trigger.
Muses.
Nope, we don't have it.
I think he
Nope.
just wants the game done at this point.
Going to 16, it looks like.
Yep. And he knows Ernie can only take out so many characters, so
Right. And obviously, if we're spending our turn to play like a dock, it's a 1/3. Like we do not have the. We just don't have. Also, like so, that's one of the things I'm going to mention. I think that was a mistake early on. I think even though like when we like the purple deck has very few answers to readied characters.
yeah.
I think you need to keep cards that can answer ready characters in case you do start to slip from behind, which on the draw you're like way more likely to do so. And if you put yourself in that spot, like Christian was ahead, and I just think it's like more risk management at that point, right?
It is, for sure. All right, Ernie's doing a lot of thinking here. He was very far behind, and that's a very, very wide board by Christian.
Yeah, that's a 16's a big number. And also, we have 5 total power in play right now.
Another genie. He's digging for more answers.
I ain't gonna do it.
Knowing the deck myself, I don't know of really any other answers.
Yeah, if like each of like best case scenarios like strength of raging fire, strength of raging fire, strength of raging fire, and that's only like clears what like 3 guys,
Yeah.
and then we can maybe clear this ward guy, but like we have to clean up. We have 7 things. We can only clean up like 3. It's just like.
Yeah.
Doesn't
and
seem.
also-
I just don't think this.
Yeah.
feasible
Okay.
yet.
So yep. So Ernie scooped up this game. We're going to a game 3, folks.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. All right. Christian meaning business. All right. Look, I'm gonna bring it back to the deck list so you can look through it. I'm gonna go just let them know really quick if they do any hand showing to keep it in the middle for us.
So one of the things I wanted to talk about when we look at these decks, right? So when you think about each one of the decks, each one of the decks has certain cards that are really going to be important in the matchup. And I think me and Bo have talked enough about like the green steel deck, how important Diablo and Ursula really are. As you saw, the Diablo really carried its weight in that last one. So Bo, for Ernie, are there any cards that you think are really going to be for game 3 are going to shine or make like the matchup that are really important?
Yeah. If I am Ernie right now, I am holding on to every Belle, Elsa, and Strength. Actually, Pete. Pete and Strength, honestly.
I think Pete is really good, especially like we said, there's a really high song count.
Yeah.
Ursula really puts you in that same spot where you want to have a lot of that. I think, I mean, they're going to pilot the game 1 of 2 ways, depending on how it goes. Either you're going to like have a really 1-drop forward hand and get to force Christian to catch up.
Yep.
Or you can like play your Calhoun game, play your some of your other cards, and try and generate card advantage from your game. I do think that just Strength of Raging Fire is a card that we need to draw.
Yeah. And he inked that one game, and I trying to think of it from Ernie's point of view, he's probably thinking like he doesn't want to risk, an Ursula Deceiver coming down and ripping it from his hand, and that's probably why. I could be wrong. He could have just been ink blocked there.
Yeah, that's true. I guess we had no idea what the constants of the hand was. It's just like such a card that playing this purple steel deck, if you're on the back foot at all, you have so few answers to readied characters. Like only 6, right?
Yep.
And so voluntarily inking one of your like 6 cards, like 1/10 of your like 10% of your deck can answer characters. So you're only probably gonna see 1, maybe 2, right? If you're lucky, if realistically, given the odds of that. But yeah, I think that's if you see a hand that's like Diablo into Diablo Broom into Lawrence, we might have a game where it's we can just push through a Diablo or something. But
yeah, if you're Ernie here, are you looking to go right under, or are you looking to play on the defensive? Yeah, I think so too.
I think you're. I think that's just kind of like when decks kind of perform on these decks kind of exist on a similar axis, right? They both like play like kind of lightly. I guess the green steel deck is more controlled than aggro, but with like some number of curse merfolk and stuff, you're still playing like a slightly aggressive strategy. The player on the draw is a lot of time going to be the one who ends up having to come up with answers, right?
Yeah, for sure. No, if Ernie can get his Pete's out, think that he can take this. All right, looks like we're just finishing up mulligans. Yep. Did they purposely have the same deck sleeve colors for today?
I don't know.
Oh, Christian was holding them knuckles for a long time. I was wondering if Ernie was gonna ignore. All right, Fox into Broom.
Let's see if we can get a.
I see a Merfolk opening for Christian.
That's definitely.
That's a 2 that he.
It's definitely not the one that you want the Diablo if you can get it, but
Yeah.
We didn't see the Shift Diablo single game. That's kind of one of the reasons you play Green Steel is you can turn 2 Shift to Diablo, but we'll see how it goes.
The Merfolk could come in handy here too, though, because I doubt that Ernie is going to.
I mean, if we can go like Ink play Calhoun Quest, I mean,
Yeah.
it's a very. But if he also plays a Calhoun, then that's a Doc. It looks like Doc's not the one you want to play. It's it's actually, in fact, probably like the worst card we could.
Right.
Say. That's really good for Christian. Right.
So it does look like Christian has a very defensive hand.
He's going hard in the paint. Looks like. Yeah, we'll have to see. I'm interested. I'm assuming we end up having to like as on the like when you mentioned like playing in game 1 where we saw him play Prince John on turn 3. I think when you're on the back foot, right, you're on the draw. I think you just have to play to like. If they answer your Ursula on turn 3,
yeah.
I think you have to like on the play. Maybe you can have that conversation, but I think on the draw, I think you have to like kind of go for the like plays that are gonna slow your opponent down the most.
Agreed.
And by like taking a turn to like play like John is not the one you want to play on turn 3.
So looking at Christian's hand, he has 2 Petes in hand.
Yeah, that's not also that usually that good in this matchup. But he's only playing 5 songs, right? So.
And very rarely, I'm thinking like very rarely does Emerald Steel get up to enough ink where he could play Diablo Pete in 1 turn, unless you're just already that far ahead and your hand is huge.
Yeah, like I think the Petes are mostly ink in this game, but it does seem like the Green Steel deck has some card. Like when we saw the deck list and we saw these lists like be trying to like play it into multiple potential opponents, it gives you a lot more options with ink, right?
Yeah, that's what I was like. Ernie was wondering if he's going to be taking the Merfolk and he's going to have to discard here, which discarding a Doc.
Okay.
All right, so it looks like another game where Ernie is flush full of Docs.
Yeah.
All right, looks like he's going to quest the Broom, maybe bounce back Doc, pop Broom.
We'll see what happens.
There we go. Yep. So yep.
Yep.
That's a play that I made a lot. All right.
Did Ernie draw the card off of? I'm gonna double check and make sure Ernie drew a card off this Broom.
I think he did. I saw him draw afterwards, but yeah.
Hey Ernie, you dropped the Broom, right?
Yeah.
Back. Yep. Okay. I would have probably quested here.
Yeah.
Like, I don't see like we're down to make that trade.
Uh-huh.
Unless we have like a bunch of strength raging fires in your hand, I think that's.
Which I did see 1 in Christian's hand.
Okay.
So he could be going for potentially.
You really don't want Pete this like that's not the one you want this turn. I think we're gonna see a genie probably here.
Yep. A goat.
Goat's actually.
Okay.
I'm actually. This hand is not the way you like. If you were like, how could Christian win this game with this start? If you're like, oh, he's gonna go, 1 drop Broom into Doc, no discard into Fox, like pop the Broom, bounce the thing into Goat. Like this is a game that is not looking bad for Christian for sure.
Agreed. I was just thinking that too. Like Ernie, last turn already lost board presence.
I think you drew another Pete right there for turn.
Oh, he drew a second Sudden Chill, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're probably gonna see. Strength of Raging Fire gets sang on a Goat right here.
Oh, another Pete. Wow, he's really... So Christian...
This probably should sing Strength on Goat.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think you think Christian takes the trade here and just
completely... I think so.
Takes board, or...
I think he should.
Oh, he didn't. Ernie readied his ink. Does that mean? Yeah, he passed it back. So he does not fully take board control here. I wonder.
Yeah, I'm surprised that that we're being so
I
passive.
would
Like
at least have quested,
especially when we know he has Doc in hand, right?
Yeah.
Like I feel like we want to be a little bit less passive, and we're okay with the trades. Okay. At the very least, I'm like probably trading Schmidt into Fox. I don't know. It seems. If we have another strength, we still likely, unless we have like for sure another strength.
So Christian has an Ursula. So he has some bangers in his hand. Christian has an Ursula Singer and a Diablo. Okay.
One of those should trade.
Yep.
I would probably trade the Shmi instead. And then quest for 2, right?
To keep the Singers? Is that what you're thinking? Oh, double sudden chill.
Double sudden.
Oh, that's okay. That's Ernie's whole hand gone.
We should probably trade here.
I would trade here and just take control of the board.
We also, I think his other card in hand is an Ursula. Oh no, he's questing. Okay, questing is fine. We'll see.
Yeah. Another three.
Okay. This is okay. Quest up to 10.
All right.
I mean, I would much rather be on the side with 4 lore and
exactly.
Diablo in play with a
hand.
Ooh, also I don't know if you just saw this, but I think he drew a Cove. Yeah,
so
Cove is like so good on this board.
Those Pete's are gonna live, and
yeah, we get to play Cove, put both these Pete's in, challenge both his guys.
Yes, I think that's the play that he's going for. Cove.
The Cove is so good. Yeah.
Oh, spicy.
Yeah, and then we can quest with Diablo, go to 5. Yeah, this game looks
almost wrapped up. Ernie's top decking. Christian missed a draw.
Yep.
Christian missed a draw.
There's a missable trigger, right?
Yeah, it's a missable. It's a May trigger. So. But.
Did he let him back in?
He did. Okay.
No, they backed it up so that he could.
Okay. So, but he did draw a Strength of a Raging Fire, but there's a Pete in play, so Christian cannot
got
play
muses.
songs.
I think we probably since
No. Pete was just played. Yeah. Okay.
I do think this Pete should trade off because it has 3 damage on it. We definitely if it's just gonna die. But
all right, but Christian did reveal he has that Strength of a Raging Fire. So, there's a goat.
All right, so but this is like, I mean, if we draw any character, right, you can just like
that Diablo is just Christian's just drawing banger after banger now.
Yeah, it's gonna. So now we can sing and kill goats.
Yeah, and Ernie knows he has the Strength of a Raging Fire.
Yeah, I like that. Yep,
it's looking good for Christian.
Yeah. I think it would be wrong to like wait a turn on this strength here. Like I see him like tanking. He's like, well, I could wait a turn and then get extra value. I think that the way we lose this, we have a Diablo live, right?
Yeah.
Like we don't need to get it all, right?
Yep.
I think we just sing this Strength of a Raging Fire, get because like if he draws a fox or something and bounces go here, like we're kind of like potentially in a bad spot. Okay, well he chose to.
Ooh!
What did he draw?
Top deck the Strength of a Raging Fire.
Well, imagine if that go was gone. Well, it's still probably gonna. Oh, I guess we now have a strength in our hand that's maybe not live unless we draw a character.
Well, he has. Ernie knows he has a Strength of a Raging Fire in hand, and yeah.
Okay.
So it's still looking good for Christian.
Yeah. Also, I think he drew a Zeus for turn.
Did he?
Yeah, so I think that's like. No, that ain't it.
Oh, no.
That ain't it. That ain't it. Also, yeah, if he like plays any song that like just like draws cards now, he can like bounce the.
Yeah.
Like if he just plays whatever the one that like gives his guy resist 2, he can like play that and just bounce his guy.
Muses could. I don't know. Christian can have some fun here if he really wanted to, and.
Just probably. I don't even want to kill it. Like.
Yeah.
Is that a Storm in his hand that I see?
No,
it's
it's
a Ursula and a. Ursula and a Zeus, it looks like.
Yeah. Like, yes, Ernie's going to get the extra draw. Yep, he just drew it.
Okay. Draw an extra card, Christian.
Nope.
No.
A lot of missed triggers from Christian.
Dogs.
Yeah.
I do.
I think.
I think if he remembers to draw a card,
Yep.
but probably nope. That ain't doing it. That ain't doing
Doc.
it.
Oh, he's gonna draw off the docks.
No.
He didn't draw off the docks. Christian, just missing all the triggers.
I'm gonna make sure he gets scolded on.
Yep.
Ask him how many Diablo triggers he missed.
All right.
All right.
Wow.
We're gonna break it for just a minute or two while I get some
All right.
post match interviews. Or do you want to run these ones this time?
Oh, you got the question, so
right.
let's have you do this one.
So honestly, that if you would have asked me to say how that match went, one player stumbling over the finish line because Ernie's one player's draw was so bad would not have been my guess. I mean, realistically, Christian's draw wasn't that good.
No.
But Ernie's draw was so bad.
It was, and honestly, that just shows how strong that deck realistically is. And I'm really surprised locally that we haven't seen it that much. But like you were saying before, it's one of those decks that's really high ceiling and really high roll.
Yeah.
In itself.
I mean, the purple steel deck usually doesn't draw. That was very uncharacteristic of that deck. Usually, you get like you have so many ones and twos that you're not playing Doc on turn 2 very often.
Yep.
So
yeah, we saw that in a couple games where Ernie's hand got really bottlenecked by. He had 2 Docs in 2 of the games.
Yeah.
That he opened onto that.
Well, he fought back. He was down a game and ended up winning the match. So, all right, let's bring the guys in. Let's do some interview
for sure.
questions in between, and then we're going to do Porcana next. So stick around, everyone. We'll be back just in a sec.
Yeah, really, really quick.
Looks like. All right, Ernie. So that was a little bit. I was rooting for you at the end. That was a little bit of a tough L. On 5% of the draws usually.
Yeah, no. Game 2 and 3, I didn't have the most optimal draws, but you play what you got. I give Christian a lot of credit coming in with green steel. That's kind of ballsy.
Yeah.
And it was a good match. Even though I was very grateful that he didn't get the turn 1 Diablo any of the 3 games, so that made it very good for me.
It did make the match interesting for that, for sure.
I've been on the giving end of the Diablo turn 1, and it feels, or turn 2, it feels pretty bad.
Yeah. The one play I think that was like very surprising to me, and I mentioned that was your hand must have been very uninkable heavy because we were looking at your deck list. Your deck has 6 total ways to interact with readied characters, and I saw you on turn 4 ink a Strength of a Raging Fire, and I was just like surprised because it was like this deck doesn't have, once we like start to stumble a little bit, we like don't have good answers for ready. So I was kind of surprised at your decision to ink that there. You want to like, kind of give us your thoughts?
Yeah. So I had 2 strengths.
Okay.
Number 1. And I was all 3 games. I kind of got inked. I was trying to get the put the pressure with the goat. Is what I was attempting to do in that play. And if I would have went back, I probably would have done the same thing. It just I kept drawing on inkables, which was a little frustrating to be honest.
Yeah. No, it totally makes sense. I watched like how you like plays every single turn, like how much it can like having the when you're on inkables kind of come out that way, how it can like play into gameplay.
Yeah, I mean even game 1, but unfortunately the other way you don't want the docks are amazing, and I would never take the docks out, but when you get them early like that, it's you got to work.
Yeah. Sometimes you draw those lucky dimes in your opener. They're important, but you can't cut them, but they also at the same time can bite you sometimes with your draws.
And purple still doesn't have a TPO to kind of hide those away, right?
For sure.
So.
Well, thanks for
no
right, everyone. Well, I got the winner. It was like with no shift Diablo. It looked like it was a slog for you to end up taking the win. So just tell me kind of about what your thoughts and like how you ended up playing the game, or any takeaways from your match.
So one takeaway I think of this match is like sometimes like I was gunning for the shift Diablo obviously, but like the second most important card in this matchup is Pete. Pete like early is really really good. It contests a lot of things with Amethyst Steel and allows you to sing your songs.
Right.
And Smee, which is like really really important. Yeah, that was like a big thought process in my game. Muses, I was like unsure when I was testing this matchup last night. The Muses were like a so-so card. The best application was bouncing Genie.
Right.
Because Genie is not a May trigger when drawing, so he has to spend 4, and he has to draw if I have this Exerted Diablo.
For sure.
So it puts a lot of negative tempo on his side of the field here. So that was like a lot of my thought process going to this match. You can kind of tell I missed a couple Diablo triggers because it's like sometimes you just like don't have it, or like I also don't play a lot of Diablo,
right?
Unfortunately, so that was some inexperience there, but thankfully it didn't end up mattering too much. But yeah, came out good.
Yeah, there aren't very many cards that actually have effects on your opponent's turn. So when you aren't used to playing with them, it is tough. Do you think that you're going to get in trouble at home from your counter coach on any of those missed triggers?
Definitely. Definitely. I've already heard text from someone like, he's missing Diablo triggers. I'm like, you're right. I'm sorry, sweetie.
That's what happens. When you get called out on the stream, you got to make sure that they hold you accountable.
Absolutely. Call me out, man. That's what it needs to be.
Well, it looks like you're on the draw for the next one. So good luck, and we'll see how Porcana shakes out. So
that's right.
All right, everyone. We're going to take a little quick pause while we get them set back up for round 2. But we'll be right back, everyone.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Shorter, lack of energy, I'll conquer. In my soul, this is real. These nights are getting shorter. In my soul, this is real. In my soul,
All right, we back.
All right, everybody. So we're gonna actually do a little something. We're gonna do a little giveaway. So I actually from my own personal collection. So for those of you who stick around till the end, at the end of the Porcana match, for if you're a viewer in the chat, I do have one of every promo that they released from set 1 till set 6 that they released as part of their in-store challenges. So. No, like $40 worth of promo.
Yeah, maybe a little more.
So anybody who sticks around to the end, I'll make sure that we'll get that out to you. Just as a little nice thank you for watching the stream. But yeah, do you want to dive into the deck list and take a look? See?
Yeah. So we are going into Porcana, and you have a little bit more experience in this than I do. I have not played Porcana yet. So
Okay.
This is Christian's list. Amethyst Steel. How do you feel about it?
So Christian at the Porcana event got top 4 and lost to Purple Steel in top 4. I think that the Purple Steel matchup's going to be really interesting to see. I do think the comment that was in the stream about Chinpo is that card just carries a lot of weight.
Yep.
Like it's so hard for Purple Steel. Like just looking at the list, right? Like how many things do you need to like run into a Chinpo to end up like actually get there? But I think that a lot of cards you do see in this list. I think the way that you're going to see Christian kind of like end up burying Ernie, that is if this Blue Fairy kind of just makes it through, right?
Yep.
If we can't answer Blue Fairy and that draws 3 cards, like it's going to be very difficult for Ernie to like, because in like a format with only commons and uncommons, you just don't generate the same number of cards that you do in Constructed.
Yep. And for the people who don't know what Porcana is, why don't you explain to them what Porcana is all about?
So a lot of Constructed right now is like, it's pretty, there's a lot of tournaments for it, so there's a lot of like just visibility, and so really a lot of times when you go to a tournament you run into the same decks over and over again, just and like you can see that in set champs. I played 8 rounds and I played against Purple Steel 6 times in one of my things, so it just you end up finding that you play in the same deck. Whereas a format like this where it's just commons and uncommons, that's the restriction. It leaves more room for you to be innovative. It lets you build decks, and it lets you also kind of play with some cards like how many times we put that Scar into play in Constructed, right? I mean,
Not
it's just,
too often.
I mean, a lot of these cards. I mean, you've probably never played with like half of these cards. Well, maybe not half, but like a lot of these cards you probably haven't played with before, and that's just because that's kind of the restriction that we play with. So it's going to be really interesting.
Let's take a look at Ernie's list here and see what he's cooking up.
So
he's also on Purple Steel.
he is. Yeah, there's a couple Purple Steel lists submitted to us for this event today. What are your thoughts on this list? I don't know what you see, anything that stands out to you?
So Ernie has the non-blue fairy list.
Right.
I think that's the big difference. Ernie just has a lot of high value cards in themselves. Christian's looking for a little bit of synergy with a lot of the shift characters, which may not be as good as some of these characters like Lawrence. But I think the difference is going to be if Christian can stick that blue fairy and Ernie doesn't respect the blue fairy, Christian could run over the game with the blue fairy. But I think I didn't see a Dolores in Christian's list, and that's kind of like a rabbit or / genie.
Yep.
Because when you play the Dolores, if there's any exerted characters on your opponent's side, you get a draw. So it's basically the same card. It's a 4-drop, and when you play it, you get to draw.
Yeah, one of the things that I want you to notice is Christian actually asked me a little bit about Porcana, and I think the one card that maybe is a little heads up that like he got the benefit from asking me about it. Notice how many let the Storm Rage on are in Christian's list versus how many are in Ernie's list.
Yeah.
And also look at like this deck, how many clean, like it's like 3 toughness, 3 toughness, 3 toughness, 3 toughness, 4 toughness, 3 toughness, 3. Like you're not clearing a character a lot of the time with 2 damage, right? And so I think that is a card that's on the surface looks like it's like a must include, and it doesn't really line up that well. And it's also uninkable, right? I know that doesn't like this like as you can look at this list, there's like almost no uninkables in the deck, period.
Yep.
But you can get to a spot where you just draw a bunch of them and you have to play them. So I think that if you they're good at answering blue fairies, but I think that card's a card that was underperforming. Whereas like Smash, which I told them is really good,
Yep.
answers these Tinkerbells that you see in the deck. It also answers like a bunch of these other 3 power characters. So I think that is going to be really interesting. You see a lot of the cards that are like kind of heavy hitters, like the Diablos and Churnabox followers, Shmees, Crabs, like and the Friends on the Other Side. Those kind of cards are just pretty ubiquitous. So we'll see which build of the Purple Steel ends up taking it.
Yeah, the 4-drop beast there is kind of interesting too. Deals 1 damage on play. Maybe he's expecting to also see Lawrence's and Pluto's on the other side, trying to ping out a damage and weaken up those guys so he can get better trade, probably is what I'm thinking he's playing those for.
Right, yeah, I agree. I think that's like the main reason you play it is because it allows you to like weaken up a Lawrence.
Yeah, but all right, these are the 2 lists. They're both playing Purple Steel. And
yeah, we'll get to see how it goes. I think in like a mirror match, because it really comes down to like some of the draws and how they line up. But Ernie's on play again because he ended up losing in our constructed, but we'll see how it does because honestly, this list looks a lot like the one that Ben Hawley played in the Porcana tournament.
Yeah,
where he ended up beating Christian in top 4. So
that's why that's probably what
inspires a nice
Christian a little bit.
Match if you're watching, Ben.
All right, so let me go get them the thumbs up to get started here. Give me just a moment.
I'm excited to see some Porcana in action. I know that they're both playing the same color pair, but I do think the decks are going to play a little bit different, and you're going to get to see some interesting. The gameplay is going to be interesting.
All right, starting us off, Chinpo, Inked.
I do think that it's going to be, because there's so many Storm Rage on, I think that it's going to be really good for really good for Ernie. That like a lot of times the blue fairies aren't going to live. That looks like an Archimedes. You played that one before in constructed?
I did, back in set 1.
Ooh.
Archimedes was the boy, Ruby Amethyst.
That was slightly before my time.
You either played Archimedes or you played Sergeant Tibbs in Ruby Amethyst.
Yeah, one of my friends who plays was asking me, he's like, man, these sharks are like the Maui half shark are the most expensive card I've ever seen in this game. And I'm like, you didn't play with $100 Maldragons, did you?
Or Rapunzel's.
Yeah, I mean that card's cooking up a little bit. I don't know if you saw the promos were like $250 or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think the game is kind of picking up steam. I think that like the set champs this season were the most that we've ever attended. If you want, I know that Mike Hawkinson likes to run math, so he made like a giant spreadsheet with it. He took all the melee data and like made a chart to track it.
Did he?
So
that's awesome.
So he has all that information, which is pretty neat. Okay, so I think this is a very easy quest from here. Like I don't think that we're gonna we don't get punished really for if he wants to challenge. That's like really good for us.
There's that blue fairy.
I think that's one of the things that a lot of players like don't really do right. Like this game is very incremental resource management, right? So you want to get your extra lore here. You can quest with your 2/2 relatively freely, because if he challenges, he loses his Shmi most of the time.
Ooh.
And this is what we're talking about. Like when he's like on the play, he's gonna have the Storm Rage on before he gets to draw a card out of it, and so. See, we would have quested here. We would have had one for lore. He would have. You would have. I doubt he would have challenged our guy.
Yeah.
And he chose not to challenge. And so I think a lot of this game is really understanding moments where like both players can exert pressure on the other player to like make certain plays, and you have to know like with format familiarity what's going to be good and what's not.
The Archimedes shift. It's an invasive character. This.
Yeah, also having 4 toughness is pretty like matters with Smash, matters with all the the removal that deck has is not put 4. So let's see what we got. Draw a card. Okay, this is Dolores you're talking about.
Yeah. Ernie has to put on that pressure now that he has that Archimedes. That's going to be very difficult for him to answer.
Okay, so we'll see how this game plays out. I think it's I saw Fire Cannons, which is quite good here because it lets us. That's a really good one on this board.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know what Jafar does, because many of you may not have played with that card.
It was seen a lot during the bulky meta.
Yeah. But I mean, that was also like 9 months ago now at this point. So when the character vanishes in challenge, you draw a card, and a lot of this game, because there's like not great ways to like generate cards. like I'm a little. We're likely seeing a Chimpo this turn. I'm feeling it.
Yeah.
I feel it in my heart. That's what if you're wondering whether that card is good or not, take a little peek at how this turn goes if it gets the Chimpo come into play, because these two questers that are 3/3s are really at risk for the Jafar. And we did see on turn one, Ernie did ink a Chimpo.
Yeah, but he's running 4.
He is running 4. Christian's only running 3.
Yep.
So yeah, I think that like a lot of these games, when you get to these like purple steel, like the cards, there's just like different card choices. Is that Chimpo that went into the inkwell?
No, it's another purple card. I think it was a crab. So yeah,
no.
the crab went in for a Chimpo. That's
yeah, and so this is right. Like you can able to protect this Dolores, and like these just don't have universal answers, right? And I also don't think that we're playing crab. Oh, we played.
He hard casted friends on the other side.
That really ain't it. Also, Chimpo like very cleanly answers Jafar, so he probably can't even quest with it here. This is not particularly looking good for Christian, and this just goes to show how
strong Chimpo is.
We probably baboomed, I'm assuming.
Yep.
But yeah, this is. I do think that being on the play is going to be dramatically different. Oh, the Scar's pretty good here though. I don't know if you saw that, because that cleanly answers a Chimpo. Lets us, if he doesn't play another Chimpo, he plays like something here. We also have 5 inks, so we can play this Scar here.
Is that the Scar? He does have the Scar.
Yeah.
Second Chimpo.
The one thing about the second Chimpo though, one thing that's good about that is like those don't quest for very much, right? So if we're able to like put a bunch of like early plays, when you do our own Chimpo, I'm not sure what we end up doing here. Like maybe we.
Because the Scar has a rush, right?
Yeah, but I mean like once we play the second Chimpo, that kind of just like threw a huge wrench in that play, right?
Yeah, but if the Scar goes in first, he could still get a draw off of the Jafar.
Well, the Scar has Rush or Challenger 3.
Challenger 3, so he just
eats. He doesn't eat, but he like very cleanly can challenge a Chimpo.
There's a Scar.
But right, like that's the thing, right? He traded an uninkable 6-drop for an inkable 5-drop. So, and that's like the best we can hope for.
Mm-hmm. Was that a 1 of Scar that he had? 2 of. Okay.
I do think like a library would be really good here, because we could put both our guys in it and like double challenge.
Yep. All right.
What did he play as the other card?
Tinkerbell and Crab. So he's just saying, come at me.
I think that it's a library in his hand though.
It is. Yep.
I think we can library
Christian
guys.
for sure has a library in hand.
But I think we're just too far behind at this point.
I think
probably.
So too. Ernie was on the play.
That's what I'm saying though. Like by being on the play and him being able to like strength the fairy before it kind of goes off, that's gonna be
the difference maker. Because had he not taken out that blue fairy, that would have drawn at least another 2 cards just from these 2 shifts here.
Yeah. Is the Scar a shift one?
It is not a shift. I don't believe so.
Yeah. I don't know.
We can check really quick. Let's check really quick. This is Ernie's list. Take a look at. The Scar is not a shift. Nope. Okay.
Yeah. Looks like Christian's deep in the tank here. It's a tough spot to be. Although to be fair, him having strength, the Storm Rage ons in this deck was not not the make or break here. It's really just like that's the thing, right? That's when we talk about this Chimpo card. Like on the interview, it was like you just can't, like it's just so hard. We kind of probably just have to run both our guys into the thing, draw a card.
Now. He played the Jim Hawkins to get a body on.
Do we not draw a card off that Jafar?
Yeah. He may have missed. Yeah, he did not draw off of that Jafar. I think he's drawing it now. No, he did not.
Okay.
Ooh, Pluto's another one. I think that's kind of game right there.
Yeah. Especially
in this poor kind of format. There's just not that many ways to come back with these cards.
Yeah, I think that's one of the... So, one of the interesting things with the blue steel list that I played, right?
Yeah.
Like, the Chimpos are very good at protecting your characters from, like, challenges from characters. When I was playing that blue steel list, when you play so much removal in your deck, it like allows you to clear the two questers.
Yep.
And then they only have Chimpo, and then like that doesn't close the game very quickly.
No.
And so the Chimpos actually are not. That's like one of the few decks that I was like brewing around that's like made Chimpo look questionable.
Yeah.
Right. But in like any of the matchups where they're like, as you saw, like never once was Christian able like. The only time he was able to 1-for-1 with a Chinpo was with a 6-cost uninkable card, and that's great if you can trade. I'm generally down to trade in that spot, but yeah, no, that was pretty not close.
Really.
That was a lightly one-sided game.
Ernie was on the play. Christian did not. Christian drew okay.
Yeah, Christian drew okay. I'm surprised we didn't clear the Shmi with our Archimedes earlier.
I think so too.
I think that we thought we could race, and we.
Well, Christian was looking to shift it. That's.
Well, he shifted it, and he could have sang.
Oh, you mean like when
he could have sang Friends on turn 3 when he shifted, but it's very clear by questing there that he like gave away what his game plan, which was just like try and get to the finish line, and I don't know, it just. I think that was not the same way we could have. I'm not saying that we like tossed the game, but I think that it's like being on the draw, thinking you're racing. A lot of the times when you're playing mirrors, you got to kind of catch. So,
ooh, Christian doing a big 6-back looks like.
Yeah,
that's the nice thing about these different formats. It really, especially in a limited format like this, the way that you win and lose, I feel, are so much tighter than constructed sometimes.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I'm super excited for Sealed for next week.
Yeah.
And I also think that like you get to interesting spots where you like, do you quest or do you not? There's just like the games look so different, right? You get to these spots where like neither player can quest profitably.
Yep.
And like a lot of players aren't used to that. They don't know what to do.
There's like a lot of skill expression in limited.
Yeah, there's just like you get frozen in indecision because it's like, what I have 6 characters and they have 7 characters. What do I do here? So,
all right.
They're
both staring at each other's followers. Christian gonna pop. Yep. I think on the play you gotta take that. Being 1 card down.
I mean, it depends on the context of your hand. I don't hate. Well, for sure, if we don't have a play to make, then I'm definitely popping.
Yeah.
That is not what we want to do. Definitely don't pop here.
Yep.
Okay. Well, when you mulligan 6 and you get a bunch of expensive cards, that's sometimes how the games go. So.
All right.
Yeah.
Christian shows Fairy first, but Ernie's also going to 3 now.
Yeah.
I think I see the smash in hand.
Does he?
Oh.
Smash is a really good one. That's like honestly one of the best ones in the format. Really, it's inkable. It cleanly answers a lot of the stuff. As you see, like Tinkerbell and Surfer Mini were both very prevalent cards.
All right, he's gonna smash the. And all right, so
Storm would have been good there.
Storm would have. Ernie could have it.
No, I'm saying like when he smashed.
Oh yeah.
Storm would have been good there.
Yep.
But there aren't like is that a?
Yeah, we got a Storm.
Yeah. Looks like I'm gonna eat my words. Yeah.
Maybe Storm's better than we thought.
Ooh, this Jim Hawkins though that we get to play though here is gonna ping off this turner box follower clean.
Yeah. All right, so we got a little bit of a back and forth game. Not an ideal opening from Christian on the play, but it's going back and forth. This Jim Hawkins is a 4/5?
5/5.
5/5.
2 cluster.
Big boy.
Yeah, there's the big characters kind of carry some weight. That you saw that was in both lists, right? Because it does a lot, and like Chimpo can't clear it cleanly.
Yep.
So.
And the ping damage is very relevant with
Lawrence and Pluto's.
And Pluto's.
Yeah. Now Ernie's a little bit has to think about what's going on.
Oh
so.
Yeah. He's got a lot of options in hand though.
Right.
There's 3 going down. Yep.
I mean, that's I'm taking that. If I'm Christian, I think that's a win for me.
Oh yeah.
We're playing a Tinkerbell here.
Because Crab Tinkerbell still doesn't take that Jim Hawkins.
Yep. Ernie's passing without inking
Yep.
up to 5. It's pretty good. I mean, it's like we're like not drawing 2 cards, right?
Another 5.
Yes.
Whoa, that's an evasive answer.
Yeah, that one was a heater. Really, I watched some of the games. That card was like one that I didn't think was going to be nearly as good. But yeah, that card. See, like this is a spot where like a Chinpo would still be kind of good, but like, we didn't ink. We played a
Ping a damage. Okay.
has 3 on it now.
So I will trade. If it decides to take.
We'll see. But, I mean, you probably could just like quest with it here. I probably don't even. I guess we probably still would want to trade here because now that we have so much damage on our guy, we don't want to let his storms really.
Yeah, and Tinkerbell's a singer.
Yeah, I kind of like the trade here. We get to quest a 5. Another guy has so much damage on it. Yeah,
Christian could believe that he's the aggressor now.
Also because there's like the Jim. He says it has 3 damage on it. Like the Jim Hawkins also can like cleanly take it out.
Oh, Chinpo. Okay. Yeah. Oh, so he's still okay. Christian's going the safe route.
Yep.
Taking the trade.
His game does look quite good for Christian now.
Yeah. Jim Hawkins.
Weird. The first person to play Chinpo looks good for her. Did we?
We're setting the meta.
We played a. Did we play? What do we draw cards with? Oh, we sang.
Yep.
What are the? Can we flip over to the second? See the stat line on this beast. This is before my time. I think it's a 3/4.
I think it's a 3/3.
I think it's definitely got 4 toughness. I think. We're going to Ernie.
Going to Ernie is so.
Porcana bottom.
It's a 3/4. That's actually a pretty good stat line.
Good. Your runs on that nice.
Yeah.
Schminpo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think we.
Goat followers. I
think we can pretty. I mean, Chimpo likely can just runs into this guy.
Yeah.
And then just like the goat probably has to jam in, and we get to play at least one guy. This looks pretty good for Christian at this point.
Yeah, that Jim Hawkins sticking.
Yeah, so we can play this
and a fairy. So Christian's just going for it. And a Jafar. And that Jafar. Christian's probably just looking to go wide now at this point.
The Jafar is a card that I had in my list, and I thought was an underperformer. I probably would have challenged over questing with Jinpo, but that's just preference for me.
Because now Ernie has options. If he has a crab in there, he can cleanly take.
Jinpo, yeah. Because if we would have challenged it, then no matter what, it would have been a 2 for 1, even if it's like the Chernarok followers. But yeah, that's pretty.
I mean, it's still looking good for Christian.
Yeah. So the going back to the Jafar, the 2-cost Jafar, I found that was one card that was in my list that ended up getting taken out because so many people stayed Storm, right?
Yep.
And like my list didn't have very good very good like targets for it, but that one sure was a nice one for it. But that one was like that's like a. Yeah. Okay. If that's what's happening. We're
okay.
That's good for Christian.
Ernie think that he? I don't think Ernie should not believe that he can outrace Christian.
I think we are forced to like do some trades here.
Yeah.
Yeah. He probably just has to like run these 2 things into Chimpo and then pass.
Yep.
So he goes to 7. Quests. Oh no.
No.
We have bodyguard. Okay. I'm down. Yeah, that's
yeah. Okay.
That's clean. Yeah. Yep. Now Christian probably quests with his evasive guy and the Jim Hawkins, and it's probably fine. Yeah.
Did Chinpo come in exerted?
Yeah.
Okay.
His bodyguard.
Oh, I know that, but like I thought I saw Ernie play it straight up. That's why.
Oh, okay. Then we can do that. Okay.
Yeah, it's like maybe that was.
I might have challenged there for doing that.
Yep. All right.
Because now Chernobog's ballers can actually trade with our guy. I'm a little surprised to the clearing of Chimpo. I might have forced him to do White Rose. White Rose not that good.
No.
And not the one.
Not on the back. Not when you're on the back foot.
Yeah. Alright, so clear. And now we can very cleanly quest for 5 up to 15. And I think Ernie has 1 card where.
Oh, that library's not bad.
Yep. That's looking like we're going to the next game.
Christian definitely playing very cautiously this game because knowing he's behind a game already.
Yeah. No, I think this. I mean, like when I was at the interview earlier and was talking about like what stood out, he said like we started with 2 Chimpos and slowly worked our way up to 4. It's like as you can see, like that's been like by far the biggest headache, right, for players. It's just like if I'm behind, how do I catch up when there's this just huge monster that I need to? Because like basically every single time it's been run 2 guys in to run 2 guys in, and
haven't been seeing much crabbing happening in these games. That's kind of surprising.
No, we're drawing 2 cards. We can. That's not where we want to be.
Ooh. I think he's looking for an answer for that Tinkerbell.
Yeah, I think he saw a smash that in his hand.
Mm-hmm. Or Baboom. I think it's a Baboom.
Baboom ain't it.
No.
I mean, if it... All right, so we draw cards.
I think yeah.
Why did he gain a lore?
He quested with the Smee.
Okay.
And then right now Christian goes to 19 here, so I don't know.
That one's kind of like challenging this me. Just draw a card, right? Like
maybe he didn't have the Baboom in hand. And maybe it was mistaking it for the Beast.
Yeah, I'm down to when we have library in play to just trade more cards. Like we're not in a we're apparently second friends. All right, that's
all right. Yeah, Christian.
he's so rich he can do what he wants.
Yeah.
Play some stuff out. Do some things.
Archimedes and a Jimbo. Okay, that's
that'll do. That's it. Bet Christian's wishing he had 4 Chimpos in his list.
All right, Chinpo closing out a game again. Not that I don't think he necessarily needed it, but it definitely.
Oh yeah. The first Chimpo was where it's at. Mm-hmm. First Chimpo made a lot of her stuff. Also, that highlighted the Tinkerbell. Like that's why I think Force Smash is so important. Because the Tinkerbell is a card that's like very ubiquitous. A lot of people play that because just in the interview, evasive is a really powerful mechanic.
Yeah,
and so you get to like a lot of spots where they can't clear your 2 quester. So, yep. We'll see how it goes. Maybe we'll see a blue fairy draw a card this game.
Ernie's on the play again, and as we've seen, it's been very advantageous.
Have you played a purple Steel mirror before? That's usually how it goes.
That's usually how mirrors go.
Yeah. I mean, the more aggressive the deck, the more that it favors the person on the play. Like blue-red mirrors, like can break serve pretty easily.
Yeah. Let's not forget, Christian did not have the most ideal opening either. He missed a turn 2.
Yeah. The Jim Hawkins really looked good that game.
It looked really good that game.
Yeah.
They don't have the same sleeve colors this time.
Yeah. Yeah, well, pressure's on Ernie. Going down 0-2 in the series would be tough when there's best of 5, right?
Yeah. I know it's a tough one. Ernie came in very confident today.
Would you say, is that how you describe it?
Very confident today.
Yeah.
But Christian's a good player. Christian's one of our local coaches. He recently started offering coaching, so if anybody's looking to up their game, reach out to Christian.
Yeah.
Still working on their mulligans. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. While they're working on their mulligans, I want to just take a look at their deck list one more time. So, what have we not? So we haven't seen the Jim Hawkins on Ernie's side, but they both are just running the 2 O's.
Yeah.
And he has 4 crabs. But
Yeah, we just haven't seen those.
Yeah.
The crabs are. I think the crab is actually, because Chimpo is so ubiquitous. I think
Yep.
crab is really, really good.
I think so too.
I'm probably gonna like lean to like just being on the play. I think that the like Ernie might be a slight favorite. Period.
Yep.
But I think that like for sure. However, if he like it ends up in a spot where a blue fairy goes unanswered, I think that card like is
Just
very
runs over the game.
Runs over the game, and it's like because as you can see from this list, right, there's not a whole lot of cards that just draw cards,
Yep.
right? Like the library is pretty easy for this big decks to answer, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they're both playing for copies of Friends on the Other Side, but that's like basically it, right?
Yep, that's it.
All right,
The
ready to
blue
jump
fairy
back
can
in?
really just. I really want to see that blue fairy pop off. Let's see.
Yeah. Well, rooting for Blue Fairy. That's a card that saw some play that's been lost in the archives a little bit, right?
It definitely
There's
has.
a lot of smashes, and I don't know if you saw that when you're a fan. I think there was like 3 smash in that hand.
How do you feel about Christian inking that smash?
I think I saw at least 2 other smashes
Okay.
in his hand. So
Oh, I think Ernie's list was the one that we saw where he only had 1, correct?
yeah, he had 3.
Or he also has 3. Okay.
Christian has 4, Ernie has 3, and this is the spot where I'm challenging Diablo, right?
Yeah.
So I hope to see Christian like see that if that like you want to put the back. I like inking library here on the draw. That's really good.
Ooh, there's
Blue
the
Fairy. Let's challenge. Let's challenge. Yeah. All right. Good work, Christian.
Because Smee definitely does not want to.
Yeah.
Challenge
Specifically,
you.
just how like the.
Storm Rage on in Ernie's hand.
Oh, is there? I mean, he
Yes,
plays 4. He plays a bunch of ways to
Yeah.
answer it. But I mean, honestly, if Ernie takes the turn off to like storm the fairy, that's like okay for Christian. Like,
That's not too bad. Oh, he chose to smash it. Okay.
okay,
Or I did. There is the Storm Rage on. I wonder why he didn't Storm Rage on it. I would have.
maybe he thought he could sing. I don't know.
I suppose.
It definitely looks like it's Christian's turn. He should probably quest. I don't think break at this point. Like there isn't like a whole lot of rush guys. Like you're not really like it's kind of a card you want to quest with and break when it's your last. Like that's the like one you want to play as your last thing, right?
Do you throw out another body here, or do you smash the Smee?
I mean, the Shmi is not very threatening, right?
He has 2 more smashes. Christian has all the smashes.
So I told you in the opener, he had 3 smashes in this opener. I would probably quest here and put another body in play.
Yeah.
Like, do we have a Shmi? Do we have an Aladdin? I play probably
He has the Jafar.
whatever we can play that's.
Oh, he's just hard casting.
Ren's is fine.
Friends,
Quest,
yeah.
but then I'd quest with our guy,
So Christian's just looking to get ahead with.
right? Like it's the same thing, right? Like there's no reason why questing or challenging last turn. Like, how is it different? Yeah.
Oh,
He chose not to
he
quest.
chose not to quest. Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, I would have probably quested.
Same.
Like I mentioned earlier, it's really about like there's little points here and there you can get, and usually it's not won by those margins, but like
Yeah, because then now he just Ernie takes that for free, and Ernie did reveal that in one of the earlier games. So
yeah. So we'll have to see what how Christian goes here. The fairy has not gotten any traction, so I think that's the big thing, right? Is like
maybe not to pop it, but he should have at least quested it, in my opinion. All right, there's the Jafar. Could potentially deter Ernie from questing his Smee to deny the lore or the draw.
This is a spot where which card's gonna take the cake.
Yo.
Not to.
Oh.
Okay, put a damage.
He didn't have the Jimpo, or either didn't, or
Yeah, I mean that's pretty good for.
that makes it a trade.
Yeah. This is a spot where Crab looks good, right?
Yeah.
Crab.
Okay, so Ernie is not giving him the Smee.
Yeah, for sure. Don't if this is
Yeah.
her play, don't do it with the Shmi. Don't give him clean 1-for-1s or whatever. And where we draw a card or 2-for-1s. I like that Ernie's played it, pass and not quest there.
Yep. Christian still has a couple.
But I do
smashes.
still think that like based on like kind of what we talked about, there's been like individual spots where let the Storm Rage on would be good, right?
Yep.
But most of the time, most of the boards they look pretty bad overall.
Looking like a lot of actions in Christian's hand.
Yeah. We're tapping the table, counting them up.
He could smash the beast.
I mean,
Jafar goes in for a draw.
I would say a Chin-Po would be pretty nice.
Yeah. Okay.
What do we play? Archimedes and a... Okay.
Archimedes and Smee.
Looks like a Smash Bug gonna get inked. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
We have not seen the Chin-Po yet.
And either player.
I don't know if I see any in either hand either. Oh, no. Ernie exerted 3. Okay, so another Chin-Po not coming
Smash
down.
Quest for everybody.
All right. Are we finally going to see a crab play? Oh, he has a Shift Archimedes in hand.
Okay, so Shift Archimedes probably going to take out the 3/4, and the Shmee's probably going to run into Shmee
Yep.
here.
Ernie 2 in hand. Christian has a pretty healthy hand though.
Yeah, this can be interesting to see. I mean, the fact that there's no Chin-Po for either player is making this game more interesting.
It is.
Also would be nice to see like the Rush Scar here. Rush Scar would probably be pretty nice on this board.
I don't know why, but I'm like way more invested in this Porcana tournament right now.
Yeah. I'm telling you, you missed out by not playing the last one.
We kind of know what happens in Constructed because we've seen those decks all the time, but this Porcana's like so back and forth.
Yeah.
There's a Shift.
Yeah. And then
It's going to smash the Jim Hawkins, take the Jim Hawkins, take the Beast.
yep.
All right. I like it.
And we're back into a interesting spot now.
Yeah.
We need. I think this is a spot where top of the libraries.
That's-
as it just says, like I think the top of the libraries are going to be. I might not have quested there. What was he at before? Was he at 9 or?
He was at 9.
Okay.
All right.
This Aladdin ain't doing it. So.
No.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And then we just used up like all the smashes to
Yeah.
inking him and playing him. This is gonna be a rough. Our Archimedes went to the.
So we have that Scar in hand. It looks like.
Scar's gonna probably run into there. Yep. But as you can see, like these characters that enter the play effects or have been like kind of good, right? Like
that Blue Fairy's, I think, just gonna run over the game now.
you mean Tinkerbell?
Or Tinkerbell, yeah.
Yeah, Dolores looks really good on this board too.
Yeah.
So
3/3 quest for 2.
yep. Yeah, this is looking tough for Christian. It looks like we might be going to a little split after day 1. Archimedes ain't it. Library.
Not looking like a clean sweep. Does Ernie have to go to end the game?
I mean, if he quests 18 and adds any pressure to the board, we also like need to draw an answer to Tinkerbell immediately, right?
Yeah.
So,
And we know Christian already inked 1, played 2.
Inked 2, played 1.
Inked 2, played 1.
I think there's been 3 used so far. So,
And there's a snake.
Snake
Ink and replay.
Ink and replay, draw a card.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's looking a little tough for the home.
Oh, all right. Whoa.
All right, let's do a little. Let's see who are these 8 folks who are in the chat. We'll get to do a little drawing, and then we'll.
All right, we'll do a little drawing here. If you are still watching, what do you want them to type in chat?
Well, you can see the 8 viewers, right? You can see who the 8 viewers are if you look, right?
No. Nope.
All right. Well, if you want to be live, you better put your name in the chat. We're gonna do a little random
we're
number.
gonna-
Just put your name in. We're doing a drawing for some.
What do you want
for some
them to?
promos.
What
Just
kind of message do you want?
Just put the name of the person you think is going to win the series.
Yeah. Who are you rooting for, everybody? That puts you into the drawing live right now. Christina's here. Who are you rooting for, Christina? Hello back from these nerds.
Let's actually wait and let's talk about the match first, and then we'll do our drawing.
Yeah,
Well,
why don't
listen,
we do
people good. Okay, any thoughts? What about?
This went about as what we thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
So when we saw the deck list, Green Steel, we both thought was going to be the favored deck, and it definitely showed. Like even Christian never even got the super high roll with the shift, and he still popped off with Green Steel versus Amethyst Steel. And in the Porcana tournament, they were basically playing a mirror, and the person on the play
Won a lot.
Won a
The
lot.
one won all the one person to play won, except for I think one game. The person to play won them all, right?
Yep.
Except for game 3 of the first match. Like we said, the Blue Fairy never stuck,
Yep.
and you just ran him out of cards. And Dolores drew a couple extra cards. Dolores looked kind of good.
Yep.
Also, it was a really awkward sequencing with the smashes. Like we needed to use them, and then like Tinkerbell was like basically an untouchable threat at that point once we
Yep.
like have used up all those. So it was tough.
Yeah, Ernie picked a really good time to save that fairy fairy. I don't know why I keep calling it fairy. I mean, Tinkerbell's technically a fairy, but Tinkerbell.
Right.
And Christian he saw 3 smashes go, and he was like, "Yep, this is the moment." And
Yep.
he played that Tinkerbell, and it ended the game for him. We got a few of you in chat here.
I think we got 4.
Scott Markison thinks Ernie's going to take the entire series.
Yeah.
Bob Young going with Christian. Hannah.
All right, let's do a random number generator. We got Bob Young, who's going to be winning the promos today. So we'll make sure to get those out to you, Bob. But yeah, do you want to get our final interview set up?
Yeah, for sure. Let me go we'll grab them one at a time and surprise you here and see who we got. So give me just a moment. It's going to be less than a minute while we grab somebody.
All right, Christian. So we had talked a little bit about like what's going to like be for sure ways that Christian can win, and one of the things was if a Blue Fairy goes unanswered, that's going to just kind of snowball in the matchup
Yep.
where it's so 1-for-1. That did not happen.
Did not happen. Had it twice, but never made it past turn 2.
Yeah.
But that happens sometimes, you know?
It definitely was a thing that it was on the games you were on the draw were the games that you had the Blue Fairy and the Fairy didn't make it a single turn.
That's kind of expected. That's kind of expected. Well, what was really interesting was that game I won on the play. I'm not sure if you could see my hand. It was really bad. Really, really bad. It was. I played a 1 cost and I skipped turn 2 after popping Chernobog.
Yeah.
I think my turn 3 was Tink, which got smashed. I'm like, well, this ain't going good for me.
Yeah.
But thankfully, I just had huge guys at the end. So,
Yeah.
Which, hey, name of the format sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, you just played some big guys, and it ended up doing. I was telling Bo that's like, for the first 2 games, the first person to play a Chinpo won the game.
Yeah, that's the key card in this format. It really is Chimpo. It just requires so much to take out.
Yeah, and
Jim Hawkins is actually a good answer because like the 1 card you don't have to 2 for your 1 yourself. So
yeah, that definitely is a card that's like very good, and I think it just really came down to like being on the play and like Blue Fairies going unanswered. So. Yeah, I'm really excited to see you guys play next week. It's some sealed. This is probably your first lightly high pressure sealed match you played.
It really is. Yeah, I do have to say this. I have played Ernie in draft before, and I did 2-0 him. So we just got to keep that streak going. Easy peasy, right?
For sure. Okay, well, thanks, man.
Thank you.
We're going to get Ernie in here, and then we'll be kind of talk about next week. So thanks,
Absolutely.
everyone.
Thank you.
All right, well, I got Ernie, who's our winner of Porcana, clearly Porcana master from weeks and days of experience, right?
You know, honestly, I Alex, that was the format I grinded all week this week. I neglected Constructed because I know Constructed, and it felt good to get the win there. I felt a little pressure going to game 3. I was like, oh God, I can't go down to this
You
chart.
never hear the end.
Yeah, I would never. That little smug guy, it would have been over.
Yeah,
So,
for sure. Honestly, watching you had like a lot of really great sequencing. No blue fairies lived to like draw extra cards. You there's like a turn where I was like, oh man, if we like play some other guys, this first Chinpo goes down to Scar, and then we're like the Jafar clears really cleanly on Dolores. But you played a second Chinpo, which like really locked it up. I think you did a lot of really great sequencing.
Chinpo is my hero in this format for sure. So and you know what's funny, Alex? Talking to Christian, he practiced harder for Constructed. He grinded a lot of Constructed games, and I grinded a lot of Volcanic games. And it kind of goes back to our earlier interview in preparation, getting the reps, and it shows that. In today, so.
Yeah, I was also telling Christian in games 1 and 2, no Crimpos came down in game 3, but the first person to play a Chinpo won the game both times in games 1 and 2.
Yeah, no, like I said, he's the hero for sure.
Yeah. Well, thinking about next week and doing Sealed, do you have any thoughts for the viewers about Sealed or what you're like looking for?
I want a nice curve. I'm excited about that format. I enjoy the limited formats, even though some people are kind of negative about kind of limited formats. I think it's fun, so I'm super excited about that. I think I should shine there, and then I'm very interested in your little mystery format that you're going to give us very shortly before next Saturday.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. The very little prep, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, we're going to have a format that you guys. It's going to be announced like the Friday, the day before. So you guys will have to stay tuned, but it's really going to be interesting. But yeah, everyone, next week is Seal in this mystery format, and like Ernie mentioned, it really comes down to like opening a pool that can really kind of play to like a smooth curve, play to like some rares that you open, but it should be exciting and get to just see some different gameplay for sure.
Oh yeah, and the plan, I believe, Alex, is we're going to record the limited build so that people can watch that later. We're not going to stream that though.
Yeah, for sure.
Because that can be a little choppy.
Yeah, yeah. All right, well, everyone, it was good to see you. We'll be back next week. We're going to be streaming from Foxton. For those of you who don't know, we are at Red 6, based in St. Paul. They've got a really great store. Jeremy does a really awesome job. I know that we're going to be doing an event later in March here, right? Winterbox?
Yeah, so we're going to do a cube draft today. We're going to fire one right after this. We'll give it a little break. In fact, I was talking to Vo, we might stream some of the... I'll put you in a hot seat and we'll see your picks. So if anyone wants to watch, we're not going to commentate. We'll just kind of show my Bling cube out. And then we'll do another cube this afternoon about 5:30 after that the first one fires.
That sounds good.
And then, end of... he'll be posting on social media, but the third week in March, we'll have a Winterbox here. So Jeremy's an awesome supporter for our community, for sure.
Totally agree. Yep. So he gave us really great space. As you can tell, we were able to commentate. We're in a separate room so that we were able to like talk through plays. So no, really appreciate Red 6. They've done a lot for the community. But
so I heard there was a vote on who they thought was going to win. What happened there?
What do we say? It looks like Ernie got a lot of votes. Apparently, Ernie's the one that's going to take it. But
okay, I have one question. This is what matters. This vote counts for like 1,000. Who did Scott Markison?
Scott voted for you.
I've already won this event,
right?
In my book,
for sure. All right, everyone. Well, it's good to see you, and we'll see you all next week.
All right.
Talk to you later.
Thanks, everybody.